So today on Simply Happy Conversation, I have with me Caroline. Caroline is from Out of the Box Coaching, and she is an ADHD and autistic coach, and she also is a workshop facilitator and also a business coach. So welcome, Caroline.
Oh, hi, Nora. Nice to be here.
Oh, it's so lovely for you to come on and have a chat. And I know that you're on the other side of Australia, so the time difference is a bit to navigate, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all right. It's all good.
So then tell us about the things that you like to do in your free time.
So things I like to do in my free number one is walk my dog on the river. I'm here in Perth and I'm very close to the Canning River and it's just beautiful. So it's one of my favourite daily things to do. But the other thing that I've spent the last 22 years doing, which I feel is a humongous part of me and what I, bring to all of my life, including my clients, is that I'm a belly dancer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, I didn't think you would. So, yeah, it's just a fantastic way to connect with creativity, with flow, with really, shaking off stress and shaking off, that anything that you don't want in your body and mind and your heart. It's just a fantastic thing to do. I love it.
And so do you go to classes for it?
Yes, been going to class for 22 years. I also have taught for about the last 20 years as well, because I have a background in dance before I started belly dance. So teach and learn. Always learning, never stop.
Yeah, no, I love that. That was one of my hen's party, was they got a belly dancer in for it. The girl that was organising part of it was we travelled around the Middle East and we actually had some classes while we were over there. So so it was nice that connection with it. So yes, I can really envision that whole getting rid of everything out of your body and just moving to the music. It's such beautiful
it's very
music.
freeing. It's not, like other forms of dance, which are very, you do it this way, you do it that way. It's much more free flowing. There's no
beautiful.
strict rules.
Yeah. And so, but how did you get into that though?
Dancing?
Yeah,
belly dancing.
The belly dancing. Yeah.
Oh, that's a long story. So I had some health issues that were around reproductive and hormones, and one of my many naturopaths recommended that it would be something that would be really good for that, reoxygenating all of that hip area of the body with the organs and everything. So I went, I've always wanted to try it. Nothing's stopping me. So I started and it was like a fish to water. I just loved it. And it enhanced not just my health, my entire life from then on. Yeah.
And so do you bring that in with your clients at all?
I guess in the philosophies that I've learnt from what makes dance connected and what makes dance, feel so good. So those philosophies come in indirectly. For example, a lot of people have especially people who are struggling with disorganization and time management, they have a bit of a touchy sensation to the word routine.
Oh yes, definitely.
Because they hear rigidity, they hear, inflexibility, they hear, I have to be told what to do, and they just resist. So with my sort of approach to routine only works when it's in flow. So I always bring that idea that good organization, it happens when it can ebb and flow with the happenings of life, not when it's rigid. it actually doesn't work when it's rigid. So that's a big feature from dance that comes across.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I love that connection between, you know, your dancing and the organization, which can feel like it's very strict and, you know, by sort of rules and stuff. Yeah, so it's nice to have that influences the way that you work. So tell us about your business and how you got into, because it's originally professional organising.
Yeah, so I started my professional organising business back in 2007 in Sydney. And just, you know, it was like that light bulb moment of, now I know what I'm meant to be doing on the planet. And just loved working as a professional organizer. And you know, sort of from the start, you know, I got the name Outside the Box Organisation Solutions really fast. You know, as you know, sometimes people when starting a business will sweat, but it just came like that. It was just also, you know, everything was sort of kismet. And that started that thinking of, well, organisation doesn't happen in a box, it happens outside the box. And that has, you know, fed this line of traveling to where I am now, very much so, which is quite weird to look back on and see that in hindsight. But yeah, so as a professional organizer, worked in just about every different situation you can imagine, but mainly that all of my processes were with coaching technique, so that it was about allowing the person to find their own organisation that works for them, not me telling them what to do or doing it for them. So that was always a big feature of how I started my business. And then about 2017, I started studying to get my certified organizer coach accreditation, and got that. And then in that process, sort of, actually even before that, 2011, I did my first ever organising for ADHD class with ICD. And I just did it because I needed some extra, you know, PD hours for my expert accreditation. And as a professional organizer, and I'm sitting there and listening to a fabulous presenter and trainer and going, wow, these are all things I already do with my clients. This is how I approach every client, not just people with ADHD. So there was a real synergy of approach with how I was working. So that really sparked my interest way back then. And then in 2017, did certified organizer coach accreditation certification. And then that, you know, had a big feature on ADHD. And I just felt like I love this so much. And I love working with my gorgeous ADHDers so much that I then pretty much, the last 4 years, 99% of my clients have ADHD. So, it just was a natural, beautiful progression. So now I work only as a life organising and ADHD coach. Yeah.
That's amazing, isn't it? Just that progression, how you, what you love doing, that's the way that you go and flow with.
Follow that always.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you were attracting a lot of clients back when you were professionally organising with needs of like ADHD or autism as well. And and it's nice that you've got that. And it's not lived experience, because that seems to be a very big feature with a lot of people. So it's nice to have someone who then does it from not the lived experience, and and does it from the knowledge and from looking out and looking in on the struggles that they're having as well.
there is a lot of great coaches with lived experience, and the coaches who've trained me have ADHD. So I learn a lot from that. But I have great friends with ADHD.
Yeah.
So I sort of really can appreciate a lot of what their struggles are and what their gifts are.
Yes.
Most importantly.
Yeah. And it's how to bring those gifts out, isn't
Yeah.
it? And even interesting, like in the professional organising group, I'm not sure if you were there, but it was what came out at the Christmas get together was basically majority of the people had ADHD or autism, and that's how they've become professional organisers, because they've come up with all the strategies themselves, been using it in their own life, and then sharing it with people. Which was quite surprising to hear so many of them.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of organisers with ADHD.
Because it's generally not like seen as that you'd be good at organising, but isn't it? Yes.
So not organising yourself,
organising other people,
organising others.
Yes.
They're amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. That can be a big feature in ADHD. Doing for others is much easier than doing for self.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. And looking at that motivation, isn't it?
Yeah.
So tell us too, because you have a companion dog. So how does he come into your services?
Yeah. So beautiful Cosmo.
Cosmo,
he was bred for therapy on purpose, and he brings a distraction. That sounds silly for ADHD, but if you understand ADHD, you do need a distraction from having too much focus on yourself, feeling, you can imagine if you're going to someone to talk about your problems, having all the focus on you makes it very stressful, very tense to want to say the right thing, make use of the time. So he sort of brings a lovely distraction to bringing so the focus isn't all on the client. He also obviously has beautiful soft fur, and there's a lot of fantastic research out there about the lowering of cortisol levels just from touching fur. So it can be up to 50%. So it actually lowers the heart rate. So he creates a beautiful calmness space just by being patted, which he loves. And the other thing is he's very highly sensitive to people's emotions. So if someone is having, a bit of an emotional moment about, during something we're talking about that's troubling them, he's right there, and he really connects with them through the eyes. It's also really interesting bit of research on how the dog's eyes have these muscles above the eyebrows that only us humans have. And it might be a reason why dogs are so connected to humans. And it's this, that puppy dog eye look that, you recognize. But that's the same look a baby gives their mother when they're connecting. And in that moment, there's that, I've forgotten the name of the hormone, but that connection hormone is being released then through that eye connection. So he does that quite a bit as well.
Yes, it's the oxytocin, isn't it?
Oxytocin, that's the one.
Yeah. I think I've read the same research somewhere.
There you go.
Yes. Yeah, no, I have for my own children, and I see that effect as soon as we start talking about something that's quite stressful from school, that our dog, she's not a therapy dog, but she works like a therapy dog, and she just goes straight to the kids. And if I am saying something and she's like, she'll think that I'm telling them, well, I might be telling them off about something. She will go and protect them and be yapping at me, even though they've done something. It could be really bad. No, she'll tell me off, like, leave them alone. And she's barking back at me. Yeah, she picks up on emotions. It's amazing. And it's such a great, and I do see that whole cortisol level decrease. So yeah, actually we should be taking her more places than we do at times. We should go to school with my son.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Well, quite a few of the dogs that the breeder that we got him from has her dogs in schools as the what are they called? I've forgotten the name of them.
Assistance dogs? Is it just?
No, they're not assistance dogs. Anyway, it's there's quite a few schools here that have a school dog to help with regulating emotion and things like that.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, the school my kids go to would be great if they had a dog there. So then tell us about some of the things that you find that are really useful for your clients around that time management and procrastination, which is a big thing that we see with ADHD.
Yeah, so when you asked for me to come on and have a chat with all you lovelies, I thought, what I do is a little bit different. And, there's a lot of great organisation tips and things around there, out there. But what I recognise very much so with a lot of my clients is that they do come to me, because they want to get organised. They see disorganisation, they want to get organised. They see that they're late consistently and that stresses them out. They see that, they miss things, and, the stress of time is a big feature, and not being able to recognize time and all of that sort of thing. But really, that's what they're trying to solve. But really what's coming into play that they really want to solve is procrastination and prioritization. So I thought I'd just talk a little bit about bringing the focus to solving disorganization, solving time management, actually comes back to identifying the real blocks on your path to getting organized or having better task management. So what we typically see is that someone has a problem and they go, right, I'm gonna fix this problem. Right, first thing I need to do is I need to know the best way to do this thing. I need all the tips. I need all the answers before I even start anything. And it's so easy for most of my ADHDers to go down into that rabbit hole of hyper-focus and making that the action. What they're actually missing is real action, the action that progresses the steps. And, it's really said many, many times, it's not as if someone with ADHD doesn't know what to do. They even know how to do it. Many of my clients know how to do things a lot better than me. But that is not the answer. Because if it was, they'd be
doing it,
wouldn't they? They'd be doing it. So, and this is where a lot of, someone who's not really educated in the ADHD space can fall into, well, just, let's put this strategy into place and let's follow these steps. That is possibly going to work, but most likely not.
Or not
because,
for very long.
Yeah, it'll work for 2 weeks and then stop. Yeah, which is a very common recurrence for most people. They'll recognize that type of cycle, works for 2 weeks and then everything falls apart. Because it has to do with the instigation of action, not how to do it, not what to do. I mean, they're important, but anyway. So what do we do instead of focusing in on that how? So we see the one I just sort of explained, and I'm sure a lot of people will recognize this, that they're focusing on, well, I have to have the perfect way to do it in order for it to work. Well, if I do that, that's going to be uninteresting and not exciting, and it feels icky. I don't want to do it. So that's a block to action. They feel like, which is common for all of us, the task is going to take longer than I thought it was, and that can be a real, lack of motivation, lack of concentration for a long period of time. The time I have right now is not enough time to actually do this whole action that I'm thinking of, so don't start.
Yes, and that's one I hear a lot, but that's one of the best things about working with people consistently for a period of time, that they then say, that only took us like an hour and a half. It's like, yeah, I thought that was going to take half a day. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, yes. So it's great when it's consistent, because then they get that idea of, oh, it actually doesn't take as long as I thought it was going to be.
I've got this classic.
Well, if you're there with the body double, that is.
Yeah. Yes. Body doubling is fabulous for anyone, but for ADHD it's great. But I work with a lot of clients all over Australia, and I'm in their home through video. And one client I've been working with for quite some time, we were working on a routine and we were doing her laundry routine. And I said, well, how about, she said, well, it takes so long to do the sheets and the towels. I said, okay, well, let's just give it a go and see how long it actually takes. And she started, and she was talking to me, and she's doing the laundry and popping it away and da-da-da-da. Anyway, she gets to the end of putting all the laundry on, and everything's set and started. And I asked her, I said, how long do you think that took? And she goes, forever. It must have been like half an hour. And little did she know, but I had actually timed her. And it was 7 minutes.
Oh, wow.
But that is the reality for someone with ADHD and time. Tasks that are not exciting, tasks that are somehow laborious or somehow, tedious, it actually feels like pain. Time feels like it's dragging like never before. But when they're doing something exciting, time tends to go by, like 2 hours will be gone by and they'll think it's only 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because of that excitement, because of all of the, interactions with time. So time and ADHD is a very interesting subject to go and have a look into.
Yes.
So yes.
As I have my own here, time the timer, so that
timer is the best.
So I can stay on time.
Is that how much time we have left, Noelle?
Oh yeah.
So that's a big feature. Another big one to stopping that action is that they can't see that there's a guarantee that this is going to work. So why start anyway? So there's this real resistance to putting effort in when there's no guarantee of a result for the positive. And that's part ADHD, but it's also part experience. Especially most of my clients are late diagnosed women, and they've gone through life, being told, well, you just need to focus more, or well, you just have to try harder, or you just have to make a list. Is none of those things are going to help. And always on their school reports is intelligent but doesn't apply herself. Those typical, sort of responses. So when there's no guarantee, why start prospect? It really becomes, a self-fulfilling prophecy as well. So it's one to watch out for, and see if that's a thing for you. And one of the others that comes across a lot of my clients is, I have to know all the steps to make a proper plan. Because if I don't have the proper plan, it won't work. So these are all just distractions from taking action. And like the one I just said, they are real blocks as well. They're not imagined. I'm not saying that these are imaginary blocks. They're real. So finding the path to action, to get past procrastination, to get into prioritization, we need to look at the block to your path. So two of my absolute favorite books, excuse me, is The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday and Essentialism by Greg McKeown. Now, they're both nothing to do with ADHD, but their principles I find very, very pertinent. Sorry, I'm going to grab a glass of water because I've got a tickle in my throat. Sorry. So taking that approach of find the way through, not around. So a lot of those things were avoidance, but find your way through these kinds of blocks so you get to action. And it's a lot of what we do as an ADHD coach is building what I call, well, what my coach calls building a ramp to action. Because as someone who's neurotypical, I can look at a task and go, oh, that's what I need to do, and start. Just like that. I can jump into action quite quickly because the connections between my long-term memory, working memory, and short-term memory are all active at once. With ADHD, that long-term memory has a bit of disconnect from the executive function to remind us of the steps and of the reasons why taking this kind of action really does serve me so well. So there's none of this hindsight forethought in the moment without a lot of effort. And that's what makes taking action quite draining, because you've got to figure out our path to those memories, to that hindsight forethought to take action. So where was I? I got all involved into brain matter then. Get excited.
And I completely agree with you on those. Like, as a neurodiverse person, it's those connections. And so I would have to look at a plan and know the steps to continue. Yeah, it doesn't just pop in, and unless it's something I've done over and over. Yeah.
So so what do we need? Understanding your innate strengths, number one. What are your strengths? And many times when I ask this of clients, they go, well, I don't have any. I think that's, a big load of, what? Everyone has innate strengths. We just need to open things up so we can see them. So we look at what the natural strengths are, not the, ones that are hard fought, because a lot of ADHD people are amazingly brilliant at becoming experts in lots and lots and lots of things. But it takes a huge amount of effort in some areas. But which ones are naturally easy? Which ones just come natural? Which ones are the strengths that really work for you? And finding a way through these blocks using those strengths is what we do as a coach. But also then on the other side of that is looking at those challenges so that they can be not disregarded, but also informing our next steps, so that you're not going to try and do things that are not natural for you, that aren't going to work. So what's an example? I love examples.
Yeah.
So they work so much better for people. Great example. Okay, lovely client. She had got really, really stuck on replacing a light globe in her car headlight. Now, I wouldn't even attempt it. Of course she did. So, and she got so stuck on it and actually started to go into overwhelm and feeling like she was stupid, feeling like, why can't I do this? This should be so simple. I've got the instructions here. And so everything started to shut down because of the emotional dysregulation going on at that time. But what we found is that her strength is cognitive processing, which means having a really good way of approaching things step by step, because that's the cognitive strength, is step by step. It's being able to view maps and see how everything works together. They're, perpetual learners, our cognitive strength people. And I said to her, but so what, where did you get stuck on the instructions? And she told me, and we're looking, I wasn't looking at it, she was looking at it. And we figured out that the instructions were actually inadequate. They actually they didn't have all the steps. So once she was able to not put all the focus onto the piece of paper, but actually see outside, well, hang on, there's something missing that they've forgotten, and included that, the whole process became really easy. Now, we translated that to her doing the most amazing work in organising and tidying, decluttering her bedroom.
Yeah.
Because she understood the steps that she needs as a cognitive strength person, and she was able to do things she hadn't been able to do for years because she identified that strength. That's amazing. Yeah, so it's a roundabout way, and it sounds like hocus pocus, but it's not.
No, not at all. No, it's just understanding the brain, really, isn't it, as well?
And self.
Yeah, yes.
That's her uniqueness. Yeah.
Your strengths.
Yeah, there's not one cookie cutter way to approach, because everyone's ADHD experience is different, because they all have unique personalities and unique lives.
Definitely. Yeah. Oh, that is fantastic. Those tips are great. And I'm sure there'll be so many people out there that will be like, oh, thank you. And wanting to connect with you, and especially because you work online, so it could be anywhere in the world or anywhere in Australia. How can people find you? What's the best?
Best way is my website, which is outsidetheboxsolutions.com.au. Just reach out. There's a little form on there. You can reach out and ask me a question, whatever you like. And if you just want to hang on around on the outskirts and not engage directly, that's cool too. I get it. You can always go to my Facebook page, which is Outside the Box ADHD Coach. Yep. On Facebook. Yeah. And Instagram as well. Oh, it's same on Instagram. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's Outside the Box Coaching on Instagram. Yeah. I'll definitely put all those in the show notes as well. But thank you so much for your time and sharing your knowledge as well, Caroline. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for having me. Oh, no, it's so lovely to have you.